The UK has now headed into its second lockdown. We begin this newscast with all the latest updates coming in from London as diners seize the opportunity to have one last dinner together and shoppers rush to make last-minute purchases as the UK heads into the second coronavirus lockdown. Here's a quick look at what London looked like on the eve of the second lockdown.
Ok, grazie.
Unfortunately, I have people who have been working for me for the last 20 years. I can't leave them at home. So I'll stay open. I'll do takeaway and delivery. Because I can't and my heart is telling me I simply can't lay off my staff that has given so much for me.
One of the doctors here.
So that was a glimpse of what London looked like till yesterday on the eve of the lockdown. For more details, let's quickly go across to our correspondent Mandy Clark, who's joining us live from London with more inputs on this news story. Mandy, a very warm welcome to you. Now, we've been seeing panic buying, restaurants packed to full capacity. What's the common feeling during the second lockdown in the UK? Is there a sense of fatigue creeping in?
Oh, there's absolutely a sense of fatigue, and you could see from those pictures yesterday, felt like the last gasp of freedom before a month-long lockdown. Now, there was a vote yesterday in the House of Commons whether this should go ahead. It was, of course, passed, but a lot of the people who voted against it were, in fact, part of Boris Johnson's own party, who felt like another lockdown is just going to severely damage the economy, and some businesses will shut their doors for the very last time, that they simply cannot survive another lockdown. So it was a very divisive issue and decision, even amongst his own party. There's a feeling of frustration. Of course, it's a different time. In the spring, there was more sunlight. We're heading into the dark winter with low light, and people, there's a real sense of frustration that they will have to spend another month in their homes.
You very rightly said the timing of this entire second lockdown is very critical. Having said that, it's interesting that you mentioned the economy, and that's what I'm coming to. The Bank of England is expected to unveil a stimulus package. What happens to UK's hopes of an economic recovery now with England headed into a second lockdown?
It is looking very dark. You know, they had to readjust their forecast. They thought it would be slightly better than it is. And the other kind of hidden monster in the shadows is Brexit. They still haven't decided on trade deal. That means that come January 1st, there is going to be much harder tariffs doing trade with their biggest partner, which is the European Union. So it's really a double whammy. The coronavirus that has severely battered the UK economy, on top of the impending no deal Brexit happening January 1st. It is really a dire forecast for the British government, for the British economy looking ahead.
Right, it is a double whammy of sorts. Having said that, Mandy, fears are also growing for those facing domestic abuse as England enters a second lockdown. Is UK better prepared this time with support for victims of domestic violence?
We saw the first lockdown, an enormous spike, a shocking spike in the number of domestic abuse for both women and children. I spoke to a domestic abuse campaigner. She said the shelters that they really need to protect people are simply still not in place. There is no COVID rule, so women who are not safe in their own home don't have a safe haven to go to. So certainly campaigners feel that not enough has been done to provide for the most vulnerable in another month-long lockdown. That's what campaigners say. We'll have to see. The government said they have provided a lot of money to the councils to help support these women. Campaigners say it just hasn't been enough.
Absolutely. And let's see how far the domestic abuse bill goes. On that note, thank you so much, Mandy Clark, for bringing us all those latest inputs.